You were born into silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that hides something. Something dark. You don't remember your first years. Most people don't. But your life was never normal because your father wasn't normal. He smiled like everyone else, talked like everyone else, laughed at jokes. But behind that smile, there was something else. Something cold. Something controlled. Something dangerous. And somehow, you always felt it. Even as a child, you remember the nights, the quiet footsteps, the door slowly closing, the strange feeling that something wasn't right. You'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, while your mind filled in the blanks. Where was he going? Why did he always leave? When everything was quiet, you never asked. Because deep down, you already knew. At school, everything felt different. Other kids laughed, played, cared about things that felt meaningless to you. You tried to fit in. You really did. But it always felt like acting, like wearing a mask, smiling when you didn't feel anything, laughing when nothing was funny, pretending to care when you didn't. And sometimes you wondered if something was wrong with you. But then you'd see him, your father, watching people, the same way you did, not with emotion, but with precision, like he was studying them, understanding them, breaking them down piece by piece. And that's when it hit you. You weren't broken. You were just like him. The first time he noticed, everything changed. You were young, too young, but he saw it in your eyes. That same look, that same darkness. He didn't panic. He didn't yell. He didn't try to fix you. He did something else. He sat you down, looked you in the eyes, and told you the truth. Not everything, but enough. There are things inside us, he said, that we can't ignore. You didn't fully understand, but you listened, because for the first time, someone wasn't pretending. That's when your training began, not like other kids. No games, no toys, no normal childhood. Instead, lessons, control, discipline, patience. He taught you how to observe, how to blend in, how to become invisible, not physically, but emotionally. He showed you how to hide what you feel, how to act, how to be normal, even when you're not, especially when you're not. You learned quickly, too quickly. It came naturally, like something inside you was waiting to wake up. And your father, he wasn't just teaching you, he was shaping you, guiding you, turning you into something precise, something controlled, something like him. But there was one rule, one thing he repeated over and over again: the code. It wasn't about chaos. It wasn't about losing control. It was about rules, structure, purpose. If you were going to be what you are, then you had to do it right. No mistakes, no emotions, no unnecessary risks. And most importantly, only those who deserve it. At first, you didn't understand. But as you got older, you started to see. The world wasn't simple. People weren't good or bad. But some crossed a line. And once they did, there was no going back. That's what your father believed. And now, so did you. By the time you were a teenager, you had mastered the mask. No one suspected anything. Teachers saw a quiet student. Friends saw someone normal, just another face in the crowd. But inside, you were something else, something sharper, something more aware. You noticed everything: the way people lied, the way they pretended, the way they hid their true selves, just like you. But there was one difference. You knew what you were. They didn't. The first time you felt it, really felt it, was different. It wasn't fear. It wasn't excitement. It was clarity, a calm, focused feeling, like everything finally made sense. Your father noticed. Of course he did. He always did. And instead of stopping you, he guided you, step by step, carefully, slowly, making sure you understood, not just what to do, but why. This wasn't about violence. It wasn't about anger. It was about control, precision, purpose. Every move had meaning. Every decision mattered. And every mistake had consequences. You became better, stronger, smarter, not physically, but mentally. You learned how to think ahead, how to plan, how to stay one step ahead of everyone else, even yourself. And yet, sometimes, late at night, you'd wonder, what if things were different? What if you were normal? What if your life wasn't built on secrets? But those thoughts never lasted long, because deep down, you knew the truth. You were exactly what you were meant to be. Now, you stand where he once stood, looking down, not as a child anymore, but as something else. Something shaped, something trained, something, but controlled. Always controlled. You remember